Let's see who else talks about today. Let's see here. All right, I'm tagging the room. Here's Tom.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Tom. Always good to have you by my side.
Likewise, my friend. Likewise. I'm going to go ahead and start pinging some folks in here too. For everybody that's here, welcome. We are streaming. We are live. We are on Facebook, YouTube. I almost said Instagram. We're not on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn, and we're on Twitter, and we're on Twitch right now. So we're live streaming across multiple platforms. Plus, obviously, we're live here in the room. So feel free to share the room, share the live streams with folks that you want to have come into the room and have benefit from this space with all of you wonderful people. And we have clips turned on, so don't hesitate. Dom always talks about it. Don't hesitate to use the clips feature. If you hear something that was poignant, important, insightful, or interesting, or funny, who knows? You never know what's going to happen in here. Feel free to use the clips feature and share that with your audience. So with that, Dom, I'll hand it back to you. I'm going to go ahead and start pinging some folks in, see if we can fill this room up right quick.
All right, let's do it. Invite a friend, and we're here we do this every Wednesday. So feel free to share the room, listen back to the room. We started a club. Some of the people that come by, pass through, some of the experts and things like that. They said, start a club. That would do you well. One of the subjects we're going to talk about today is sales versus marketing. Tom was shot out of a cannon today, and sales versus marketing. Is your message clear? Are you on message? So a couple of those things. But Tom, you want to lead us down this road of sales versus marketing? Why are so many confused? I say back in the day, I sold yellow page ads. I sold insurance, even life insurance. I called it Jay. I say I did a 9-year bid in insurance. And then I sold yellow page ads, insurance, pharmaceuticals. So made thousands of sales calls, been told no probably 50,000 times, easy 50,000 times. So that sells to me, Tom, a lot of no's. I consider it a dance. I love the dance, though. I'm a fan of the ebb and the flow and the persistence that it takes, and the trust that you have to gain and things like that. So sales is a beautiful thing. But why do you think people get sales and marketing confused? And what is the difference? What do we need to know?
I think there's a lot of conflation between sales and marketing, right? I come across this when I talk to business owners or people who are decision makers in sort of small, medium-sized regional and local businesses. And I get asked all the time, what's the ROI on marketing, right? What's the ROI on video content is actually the specific question that I get asked all the time. And asking me that question tells me two things, right? It tells me, one, you don't really understand what marketing and video content is for, right? And two, somebody has lied to you about the ability or the way you measure the success of marketing, right? Or your content production. So first off, right? If you're asking me that question, you don't understand what marketing is for. And I say that because you are conflating marketing and sales. Marketing grows awareness, brand awareness for your business. It helps you generate a customer base and an audience for your business, but it does not sell your products or services, right? So it does not directly generate revenue, right? It creates warm leads for your sales process so that you can generate revenue. So like for sales, you can measure the ROI, right? You know what you're paying your salespeople, you know what you're paying for the different services you may use, the management software and things that you might use to run your sales process. So you can measure those costs and associate them with the revenue that sales generates. But because marketing doesn't directly generate revenue, you can't really measure an ROI. You can take guesstimates and say, well, before we started this marketing campaign, our sales was X, and we haven't changed anything in our sales department. So now we know that from this change in our marketing campaign, our sales is Y, and that increase in sales we can most likely attribute to our marketing. But again, you can't direct measure it, right? So so it means you don't really understand that marketing does not lead directly to revenue, right? However, sales does. And then the other side of that is somebody lied to you, right? Some marketer somewhere, somebody whose only interest is in actually closing your business, right, is getting you through their sales process. Someone in that arena, right, told you that they could deliver to you an ROI of X on your marketing spend with them, right? And when they told you that, they lied to you because you cannot measure a clear, significant ROI on marketing because it does not directly generate revenue. And so that's the big thing that drives me nuts as a content creator. I get asked all the time, and I just had a conversation yesterday morning. I was telling Dom about this before we got on. I had a conversation yesterday morning with a marketer who like was equally frustrated. And he and I just kind of went back and forth talking about this conflation that so many businesses and business owners and decision makers have between marketing and sales. They are not the same thing. So yeah, so that's where I'm coming from today. Like Dom said, I was a little bit fired up about it. But yeah, so would love to hear other people's thoughts, insights, struggles that they've had with this, or confusion around the subject, and happy to answer any questions we can.
Tom, I'm glad you're so passionate about it, and it's an interesting thing when you see people that are like, I made the ask on every post. I did this, I did that. I didn't get 10 sales from being on LinkedIn or Facebook. I'm going to quit Facebook. I'm going to quit doing Clubhouse because I was on for one day and I didn't get this selling this. Well, how many interesting people did you meet? How many people were in your funnel? How many people might connect you 10 years down the road that now know about your product or something like that might tell somebody else about it? Rita, you hear what we're talking about today? Welcome to the club. You can ask a question. You can drop a tip. You can tell us you're pissed off about marketing and sales. So wherever you want to go here, Rita.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I actually, my background's a marketer. I was a marketer for over 11 years. Um, yeah, it's actually the secret sauce is in repetition. So it's all about repetition. So I think today, it takes about 16 touch points for on average for a cold potential prospect to convert into a customer or a client. So that's different. They could see an ad on maybe YouTube and then see it again on Facebook or see it again on a Google display ad. And then they'll download something like an ebook and they'll read it. They might like it. Okay, I'm going to opt now. They're in your email newsletter program and they're constantly getting maybe an email from you once a week or once a month or twice a month. Then they may jump on your YouTube channel and see your video. And then of course, if they see you on Clubhouse, it's like, oh, the more and more they get to experience what you have to offer, who you are, they feel like they know you. It's kind of like that celebrity effect too. If you are relating it to like a one-on-one, if you are a coach or something, if you're selling a service. So that's how that works. It doesn't happen like a one-off. And in podcasting is great for, that have people hear what you have to say, and also networking with you and the podcaster. So that's how really that works. Yeah, and Tom is completely right. It doesn't, there's no like, magical like bullet when it comes down to a one-off event in terms of marketing. It's really, and it depends on what stage you are as a brand. If you're a new brand, then you can't compare yourself to a brand like Pepsi or Coca-Cola because they've been around for so long. Like it's a completely different ball game in terms of marketing and how you would approach that. So if you're new, your main focus is just exposure to kind of build up that trust, credibility, and like factor.
The other place I wanted to just jump in with this, Dom, and thanks for your insight, Rita. Thanks for your insight from your background in marketing. It definitely, I'm sure, helps folks in the room better understand what we're talking about. Consistency 100% is key. I mean, in success in anything, in networking, in marketing, in sales, in business, in life, right? Like consistency is important. It's how you build trust. And yeah, it's the best way to do that. But the other thing I wanted to mention was this conflation between marketing and sales is so pervasive that it is what I would argue is the driving force behind why so many people create such horrible content to promote their businesses. And it's that content that we've all seen, that we all see probably every day on social media or on different digital channels that we subscribe to or participate with. And that is the content that is trying to sell you, right? The content where they're trying to get you to buy in the content, where it's not a call to action, it's a call to buy, right? That content is a direct result of people not understanding marketing versus sales and how they are different parts of your business and they should be treated differently and approached differently. So that's something I see all the time. And I see people offer like advice, like, here's how to not be so salesy in your content. I'm like, here's a hot tip for you. You want to not be so salesy in your content? Stop trying to sell with your content. That's how you stop being so salesy in your content. It's not rocket science. Just stop trying to sell with it. It's that easy.
Tom, how many people, when you're on Clubhouse, and Jay, I know Jay would appreciate this. How many people on Clubhouse even do you see that you're in a room, you ask a nice question, whatever, and then they say, and you can deal with me for $1,000 or $2,000, and you're like, what? I just came here for some advice, or I talked about that. I didn't know that this was a pitch, and as soon as I find out that it's a pitch, then I'm like, I'm out of here. I wanted to go back to something Rita was saying, because I love thinking about algorithms. And so Rita said 16 touch points to hit the cold buyer. So you would think, okay, if you had to post 16 times to hit, this is from somebody first time they see you to that you're doing a close with them or whatever. Now, if you're starting on social media, you guys the best way to do this would be take your LinkedIn, because you can see the views on every post. So take your LinkedIn and divide the views on your last 5 posts. And you will know at what percentage your posts are getting through to the majority of your market. If you have more likes and comments on a post, it will be a little higher. But your basic post, you're getting, 200 per, 500 per, whatever that number is. Same thing on TikTok. So you can see that you're getting a TikTok, maybe you're at 7%, 8%, 9%. So if I take the 16 calls, understanding that only 5% of my posts are getting through to my audience, it's actually going to take me about 80 posts to get through. And so somebody, well, why would I even do it? Well, it's not why would you even do it. It's that understanding of consistency and being out there. This is a long game you're playing. But if you're consistent over time, like me, I post 50 places a day, 365 days a year. So that 80 really is a small number. But Rita, I appreciate you bringing that up. So let's keep moving here, Tom. And you guys know the subject, but we'll go anywhere. So if you have questions, because you got experts all over the place here, come up, ask. But okay, Clubhouse, podcasting, publishing, and social media. We do this every Wednesday. We're live streaming. Tom set it all up. He's got these neat little virtual effects here. It looks like a phone. or he's a hand on the phone. So he's doing a good job. I appreciate you. So Tom, we have to meet our friend Charlie, who he just released his book, and he's killing. He's all over the place. Charlie, what's going on, man? What are your thoughts on all this?
Good morning, everybody, and great topic. I was in the refuse recycling business, very, very tough business. Nobody wants to hear from the new person on the block. The major haulers, they have the market cornered. So I come on in the capital city, and I have my big dumpsters, and I state everything we do: industrial demolition, commercial waste, and I'm not getting busy. I finally come up with an idea, because the people that own these businesses, although they're multi-millionaires, they're very salty. And I think that I'm a little bit more of a gentleman than them, and I have a little bit more of a sense of humor. So I just started putting on all my dumpsters under industrial waste and all these bullet points that we do. We plan weddings with big wedding bells on it. And I sent you that, Dominick, on a text. And that started a buzz in the Capitol. People would start to call up and say, you plan weddings. And people that didn't even need dumpsters found a way to get one of my dumpsters in there. And it took a little bit of ingenuity on my part to do that. But I started.
Charlie, hold on, man. I need some clarity. I see a big dumpster. How does dumpsters relate to planning weddings? What's going on here?
Absolutely nothing. But
Okay.
absolutely nothing. I should have put it on there. Eye-size engagement rings. I just, as you saw, all my dumpsters were professionally labeled, big 40-foot long containers. And I just had to put, we plan weddings, something so off the market of what we do, but it got attention. And it gave people an opportunity to communicate with their local waste hauler that they normally didn't. And what happened was, I wound up, instead of going for the commercial customer that I was always looking for, the hospitals, the Home Depots, I started getting homeowners and say, you know what, I want one of your bins. I want to take down a garage, or I want to do a clean out of the attic. And the rest was history. I got in there with that, and it helped me. The other thing I want to circle back on what Tom said is, if your advertisement or your pitch is a pitch, if your content is a pitch, I mean, there are clever little ways of pitching. Paul Davis Restoration, for instance, just shows you a home, and they just have a tagline that says, when minutes count, and you put two and two together. If there's a flood or a fire, you need these people. And the last thing I want to say is, I can't tell you over the years how many times I was invited to somebody's home over an MLM, which normally you can't get me there. But if you have a good product, if you have something that could help my health or help others, and I think it's interesting, I'll go. And I often am turned off by the product, because they might spend 20 minutes talking about how great this product is, how it'll impact lives, how it'll give you a better feeling, and this and that, and help you make better food. Digestive enzymes will crave this certain type of vegetable. And then the rest of it's on the business aspect of how much money you're going to make. And from this person here that started with a $200 pickup truck, I never talked money. I never talked how successful. I never talked about anything like that. It all comes. If you're good at what you do, you're going to be compensated for it. There's no way around it. And when you post on social media, LinkedIn, and you think, well, nobody's hearing me. Well, when the right person hears you, you'll know. And I remember putting tons of ads out, and I thought, wow, the ROI on this is not. Just kept doing it until a commercial construction company and both hospitals, the founder, got a hold of me and used my services. So that wraps everything up. That's what I have to say. I'm a little crude in this line of work. I was a garbage man, but I made the best of it, and it worked out very good for me and my family, and for a lot of unwanted business. I think that I worked really hard so that I could get the things I thought I wanted, which really didn't make me any happier. So now I make dogs happy. Those that have no choice. Thank you.
Charlie, man, appreciate you. You're out there doing it. And what you'll find from Charlie's a businessman who now he's out sharing his story, but he was able to do very well in the business world using these skills, his personality, all things that we should be doing. He built relationships, and then he was able to convert those later on down the road into sales and a successful business, and now chasing dreams. Jay, man, what's up? Look at this coat Jay's got on. I'm gonna look closer at this coat. Jay looks like a baller here, man. Jay, what's going on, man? Where you been? What do you think about this sales versus marketing? People that are overselling. Where you at on this?
Well, I am a bowler, but I have no opinion on this whatsoever. I came to support you and Tom. My opinion is this. I've shared dozens of spaces with Rita, and that's the first time I heard her talk, so I was impressed with what she had to say. I really came to support you and Tom, and I see we got some heavy hitters in the room. Prof T, Julie Loken, Jess, Wally. What's up, Wally? Jackie, Jess, Bridget, Mr. R. So I really just came to share some space with you guys, some of the heavy hitters on Clubhouse, and support you guys. That's really it.
So let me change that question for you, Jay, because I know you're pretty active on Clubhouse, and I know that you have some thoughts on how people run rooms, right? And so let me ask you this: when you go into a room, the Pied Piper's got my back on that assertion. But yeah, when you go into a room and someone is pitching from the stage, what's your reaction to that? What do you think about those rooms?
I think my reaction is they're pitching. Well, there's a difference between a con man and a hustler. If they're pitching and they're a hustler, I have no problems with that. If they're trying to con people, that gives me a physical reaction, and I want to take them off the app. That's my opinion. But
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, look, I have no issue with people working hard to try to build a business, right? But it's what I think what I'm really getting at is the people who are trying to sell quick fixes that we all know are appealing but don't really work, right? There is no such thing as like a miracle cure. There is no such thing as like the 3 steps to grow your business to 7 figures. Like, it's not 3 steps. It's never 3 steps, right? It's not 5 steps. It's not 10 steps. It's 1,000 steps, right? It's 1,000,000 steps. So like, what do you think about those kind of people, those sort of hucksters that are selling those quick fixes? They're all over Clubhouse, right?
I can't stand it. But I mean, listen, the common sense is not that common. And, I don't understand how these rooms get 200, 300, 500 people in them, but they do. I mean, people are always looking for the quick fix. But, I find that Clubhouse is a microcosm of the real world. And, the 2 things that people crave the most in this world is intimacy and to be heard. So, people go into those spaces so they can be heard. And these hucksters, part of their game is letting people be heard. But while they're being heard, they're getting their pockets picked. But I see Mike Don. I'll land my plane in a second. I just want to say, I also go into spaces with somebody like Jess Dalby, who's she's a hustler. Like, this girl built it literally from the ground up. Nobody gave her nothing, and she just had an idea, believed in herself, and built it. Somebody like Jackie Brannigan. I mean, somebody like Prof T. I've shared space with these 3 queens who, at some point, and I've heard it in all 3 of them, had that defeatist, attitude where they're like, all right, I'm ready to walk away from this, and just found the inner strength, the fortitude to say, I'm not. Where they might have been in a room where there was 3 people, like, what the F am I doing? And we're ready to walk away. And now look at all 3 of them shaking the ground because they found the fortitude to move on. So I just wanted to say that.
Jay, man, appreciate you. Love the work, man. This guy's got heart, and that's why we were pushing you, because I admire a guy that defends people that are being preyed on and stuff like that. So part of what Jay's doing on Clubhouse is finding con mans and things like that and saying, hey, maybe this isn't right. Maybe I'm going to be a voice for you. And so I respect that, man, and keep up the good fight. And to your point of, there are a lot of people preying on people's hopes and dreams. And they know the person's hurting, they know they have these dreams, and they're going to make a buck on it. And that's what's not necessarily right. But okay, we're going to talk. We're talking Clubhouse, podcasting, publishing, and social media, marketing versus sales. Are you on mission? Somebody that's always on mission is Julie. So are you on mission? Is your message clear? What do you think, Julie?
I think no.
Why?
Well, I just want to say, like, I want everyone to share this room, first of all. And let's build it up, because the Tom and Dom show, as I like to call it, is really just the most authentic space to learn, connect, network, grow your business. And I am geeking out on this topic because I just love understanding what works and doesn't work for business. I think, thanks, by the way, Dom and Tom. And I just wrote an article for Breakthrough Magazine on this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love talking about it. And it's so fascinating. Yes, the clickbait, the promises that you will be, a #1 Amazon bestseller if you spend this $10,000 with me, $20,000. It's false. There are tricks to the game, and it's to be smart. Surround yourself with people who know what they're doing, who are authentic, like Dom, Tom, Rita, Charlie, Jay, Prof T, Jackie, Jess. Wally's amazing, and he has an amazing story as well. But I think the truth of it is, while content is king, consistency is queen, and it's understanding your voice, what makes you different, how you speak differently to connect with an audience. It's about connection. It's about that evoking emotions. And as Rita said, it can take 16 times even for someone to even recognize you are a person. And do it through mixed media. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's not all about social media. It's about, like Tom being our guest on the Media Casters. You should be guesting on podcasts, because guess what? That's free marketing for you. And that's free publicity. You get to sit in front of other people's audiences. So I want to thank you guys. I hope you don't mind if I just jump in, and because I can't control myself today. So
Julie,
thanks everybody.
please
Yes.
jump at any time, and any mods, anybody on the stage, flash away. And if it gets too crazy, we'll have Tom yell at you, because I'm not good at that. But
We can have Jay do that.
Yeah,
Jay's
we'll get Jay.
that.
We'll make sure. I'll send Jay a message in the back channel. I'll say, Jay, this person, this person, this person, and cut this person's mic. But no, we appreciate you, and thanks for being here. And anybody, if you want to ask a question, raise your hand. We'll bring you up, and you'll see we try to make this a equal opportunity space. So whether you've sold 1 million books or made millions of dollars, or you're on TV or Emmy nominated like our friend Tom, or you're just starting out on a podcast, well, this is a place where we have all these answers for you. We're trying to get them. And Julie, I love this thought of, one, things I like being on other people's podcasts. I am a publisher. I make my living as a publisher. And you will see I am on Clubhouse all the time. I'm on social media all the time. I'm on TikTok. I believe in all these other platforms, but I believe in storytelling. And I think that if you're a storyteller, if you're not telling your story on a podcast, well, are the people that consume their content on podcasts going to learn about your story? If you're not on TikTok, is the generation that is looking for a story about Star, the dog, or a story about Jess in the military, or Julia in Media Casters. If you're not there, those people that are looking to consume that kind of content, maybe they don't get your message and they find it from somebody else. So I think it's a miss not to be in those places. So we will keep on. We'll keep on rolling to somebody that's killing it. Talk about views and just doing your thing. A professional ping pong player that is viral, inspirational, and tells it like it is. So, Wally, you want to drop? Go on.
I think you skipped another Jess.
Did I? Oh,
and
my.
Prof T.
Okay.
Prof T,
See,
yeah.
all right. My order's all okay. My order's all. Dang you. Okay, I refreshed. Thank you, Jay. That's why we need you. Now it goes Prof T, Jess, then Wally Green. Okay, so Prof T, my friend, we had a business meeting. She lives out in Philadelphia. I think we have to meet. I was super inspired. She's an author. She's got a book that's coming out real soon. Prof T, you want to tell us about that process or how you're doing? And then just chime in on the subject, drop a tip, ask a question. Go on.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. This is Teresa Agostinelli, otherwise known as Prof T from Philly, where it's not so chilly anymore. So glad I'm able to say that. Hey, this is like a powerhouse stage. Thanks, Jay, for the kind words. Dominick, Tom, love your rooms. Everybody share these, please. Just get your friends in here. This is a great room to actually learn and walk away going, hey, I didn't know that. I'm going to try that. And Julie, oh, Julie Loken, my girl. So yeah, I have a book coming out. Listen, I got 20 years in the mental health and wellness. I'm a licensed clinical psychotherapist, a John Maxwell certified coach, and I teach at a local university here. So I've combined almost 20 years of my own personal journey in with the stories of the clients that I've worked with, my clients, my patients, if you will, and my students, overcoming trauma and drama. And I'm working with law enforcement as well. That is something that I'm passionate about. So it's all combining. So let me just say a couple of things, and then I'll dock my yacht or park my Harley. You know what? There are people in the rooms that are selling. um, Now, there are rooms that I go into that it's kind of like, hey, what's your ask? What's your give? I've hosted those rooms. I've done those rooms and I've gone into rooms. I'm okay with that if it's clear by the host of the room that that's what we're here to do. So I get that. If you saw my email, you would probably, it is vomit on my screen because I sign up for one thing and then I'm getting emails from these people every single day, 2, 3, 4 emails a day. I can't, I'm in the matrix of all of this
How
selling.
quick do you unsubscribe, Prof T?
I just literally yesterday went through. I'm starting to unsubscribe some things. So my question would be, first of all, let me just say what I'm going to do, and then I'll ask my question. What I'm trying to do is get my book published. It's taken a long time. You guys are right. It is not as easy as it seems. Okay. And marketing and sales is so different. And what I'm doing is combining everything now to just focusing on full-time book. That's it. Getting it published, going on shows, podcasts. I've been invited to so many podcast shows, stages, in person, virtual. But the last part is, hey, once you got book in hand, call me. So I get that. So I'm chomping at the bit to get this book done. It was supposed to be done in April, then May, and then June. It is a good book on mindset. It is a good book on overcoming trauma and drama. It is a good book with great stories of real people who've overcome the odds. So I'm focusing on rooms that I can do that. And I am focusing my attention on getting these online apps ready for my book. So my question is this: for those who are, selling content, which I'm not. I that ship sailed for me. I know what I know what I don't like, and I know what I don't want, and I don't want to be the queen of content. I'm not doing that. So, how long does it take for somebody to say, hey, this person hasn't bought anything from us? Maybe we should take them off our list. How does that work? Or do I have to just go in and unsubscribe from now on? Thank you. That's my question. This is Prof T from Philly. That's my question. Thank you.
Prof T, do you want to take them off or are you asking if they're going to take you off?
So, I haven't bought any content off of so many of these things that, I signed up for. Hey, yeah, I want to maybe sign up for that quick virtual session, or I want to sign up for that webinar. And then it's like overwhelming after that. It's like, hey, I haven't bought anything from you. I haven't been to your seminars. Um, when does the person or the company go, hey, they're not really interacting with us. Maybe we should take them off our mailing list. That's my question.
Yeah, Tom's shaking his head. He's going never, and I would agree. I'm there is a value in the email, and so I want I run a nonprofit, and we feed about 10,000 people a year, and temporary house people about 500 a year, temporary house them and help them pay their rent and things like that. And one email at the end of the year can raise X amount of dollars. And that email, in my mind, is divided by how many people. So then you know that each email has value at some point. So same with, you may have this big business, Prof T, or media casters. Media casters someday is probably going to sell to like Paramount or something like that. And at that point, they're probably going to offer Julie about $500 million or something like that. And she's going to have all these emails accumulated, and there's a value in those emails. So that I don't think you're ever going off the list, and there is a value in those emails. Tom, go on.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have to unsubscribe. They're never going to unsubscribe you because Rita was talking about earlier, right? 16 touches before you even have the opportunity or the likelihood to convert somebody into a customer, right? So if you keep that in mind, and I think it's like, even in sales, it's like 8 touches before you actually close a sale, right? On average, like, and most people stop after like 2, right? So they're never going to take you off that list because there is the potential that even though you haven't bought from them, even though you haven't attended their seminars, even though you haven't purchased any of their subscription plans or anything like that, there are 2 opportunities that come with every email they send you, right? One is that's going to change, and you're going to see something in that email that converts you, right? That leads you to become a customer, right? They're finally going to deliver the right message for you, and you're going to convert. Or 2, you're going to see something in that email that makes you think of a friend, a family member, a business associate, whomever, that you can then refer them to, right? That you're going to share that email with somebody and say, hey, saw this and thought of you. Hope maybe you can find it useful, right? Maybe you should subscribe to this business, or maybe you should check them out, right? And now they've got a new subscriber. So there's no way, not in a million years, I think they'd be fools to unsubscribe you. The only reason any of that ever happens is like, for people who do, there's a lot of coaches, for instance, that sort of build audiences on Facebook, and Facebook has a limit. You can only have 5,000 friends on Facebook, period. Right? Unless you're an influencer and you have the blue check mark or whatever, and you can have a bigger audience that way. But if you're just using a standard friends profile to grow an audience, you can only have 5,000 friends. And so what they do is they periodically go through and they cull that list so they can add more new people. But like, that doesn't exist for email lists. There's no cap. You can have 1 million, you can have 10 million, you could have 100 million people on your email list, right? The only thing is you got to pay more to send those emails to people. But if you got millions of people on your email list, I guarantee you that those emails are paying for themselves. So yeah, they're never going to take you off that list, Prof T. You got to hit the unsubscribe at the bottom. They're never going to take you off.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Prof T. We always appreciate you being here. Keep us posted on what's going on with the book. It's such an intimate journey when you launch out, when you write that book, because you're sharing all your personal thoughts, and you have a message that can help other people, and you want to get it out to the world. And you're so anxious because you put so much time in it. You believe in it so much. So I know that moment before launch, those couple weeks before launch, it can be very stressful because you're like, when's it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Maybe something makes this not happen. No, your book's going to come out. Whoever you're with, I'm sure they're going to take care of you, and it's going to end up a beautiful book, because if you wrote it with the passion that you have, I can guarantee it's going to be a heck of a book. And you're gonna help a lot of people. So speaking of somebody that's helping a lot of people, a juggernaut right now, a juggernaut. That's a cool word, Tom. I'm gonna start using it more. That's our friend Jess. I'm seeing her, like Jay said, she's creating this media empire from scratch. So Jess, what advice do you got for us? How do you know you're on mission? Give us your thoughts on the subject.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tom. I love this room. I always try to make it a point to be in here. Um, Thank you, first off, Jay. That was super warming, and I appreciate that. Uh, I just I am lost for words, believe it or not. I'm just really kind of I'm gonna just give a lot of credit to Julie, to Jules, who kind of just pushed me on the edge and kind of pushed me off the nest, I guess you could say, pushed me out the bird's nest, and was like, fly or hit the ground. Um, but those words really like resonate hard with me when she says inspired action, and I've been doing it for such a long time, but I've just been really quiet, and now I think it's just enough is enough for me. And you only have one life to live. Tomorrow is never promised. And that's just really it about me.
Dominic,
And
can I ask you a question, please?
Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Yo, Jess, good morning.
good morning.
What kind of podcast do you have?
So I have the Diggy A2 podcast, which is paying homage to hip hop artists, interviewing independent artists, and now Plan D, with
Where
Jessica Dalby.
where on in the numbers is that podcast? Like,
So my Diggy A2 podcast is in the top 10% and always in the charts, ranking in the top 20 charts all the time. And
wait,
Plan D,
is that in America
yes, in America and in other
or
countries.
in other countries? So worldwide, correct?
Worldwide, yes.
Oh, okay. Because you're fucking amazing. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, Jay. Hey, Jess. So for somebody that is starting this journey, how long have you been podcasting?
So I've been in business. August will be 2 years. Actually, August 10th will be 2 years. And but the journey started in March, so a couple months before August, and just it's evolved. And I don't like set goals because then I cap myself, but I'll set milestones, and if I achieve a milestone, then I'll just keep going. But I'll have moments where I want to quit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a normal person at the end of the day. Um, and then I have people like Jay, uh, who's will give me some tough love, and then I get up and I keep it moving and keep it going, because I know that at the end of the day, my purpose is bigger than me. It's and yesterday I did that, just for people who don't know that I love to write, and I did just that. I just went on, and I just needed a break from life, and so I just kind of put it all out there, and went on Medium, and I wrote, and I felt good. I knew it didn't make this huge, long lasting, legislative change or fix or anything, but it's you can't have change without action. And so for me, it felt good because that's what I did, because I started with my action.
Get out there and share your story. One more question, Jess. This is in. Where were you before you started this journey? Because you left another world to enter this journey of sharing your story. So, what was the moment where you said, "No, now I'm going to share the story"?
Oh wow, I was I was a little bit of everywhere. I was in the military. I was down and out. I didn't have the peachy queen life, and I don't think anyone has. We all struggle, but um, it was just a moment of transformation for me. Coming from the military into the entertainment industry and surrounding myself in a very male dominated industry, um, but having the soldier mentality and having that fighter mentality, and just I've just always been an advocate for the underdog and for the voice for the voiceless, the person that's scared to speak up. Like that's been me, and that's what I never had for me, so I wanted to be that for other people. And then I just finally just it was just one day I just woke up and it was like click, this is what your purpose is, and you are worthy of being recognized for your hard work, and you don't have to pitch and sell yourself and get validated. So that was me.
Just killing it. This is one of those instances that Tom spoke of earlier where you need to clip yourself and share. When you talked about being a voice for the voiceless, man, you were on point. So killing it. Keep doing the good work. We are glad you choose when you could we're glad you choose to spend your time here when you could be anywhere else. And thank you to anybody in this room that came by for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour. We know you could be 1,000 other places today rather than hanging out with Tom with his funny build hat on. Look at that, Bill, if you're watching on the live stream, flat as could be. His head looks good in the flat brim. My head does not look good, and I have to wear it like down over my eyes, covering it. But
What are you talking about? Funny?
Hey, that's my thought. Anybody on the, if you please, let's get an over under on if you're watching the live stream. If you see Tom, flat brim, he's got it's like extended brim, flat, like
So
extra large brim.
the reason why the flat brim works for me is because I have a super round head and round face, right? And so if I have a hat on with like a super curved brim, then it just accentuates the roundness of my face, right? And so it's one of those things. Like I use this in production all the time, and in crafting shots as a cinematographer and director of photography, is you look for contrast, right? So, if you look at my image right now, if you're looking at the live stream, like, yes, I've got this flat brim, that straight line contrasts with the roundness of my face, but then also I'm wearing a black shirt that contrasts against the sort of pink and orange glow in my background, right? So like it's part of creating pleasant imagery is about contrast. And so I use like the flat brim. I like the way it looks best for my face because it contrasts with the roundness of my head, right? You've got a longer face than I do, Dom. And so I can see why you like the curved brim better. It also, honestly, some of it is just like committing to it and going with it. And after a while, like even you might be a little bit unsure of it to begin with, but if you commit to something and you go with it, often you end up really liking it. So like I started wearing the hat as like a way to start promoting my business, but now like I know people, I've had people say, they were like, for all I know, Tom doesn't even have a top on his head. I've never seen him without the hat on. Right. So like I always have, this flat brimmed hat on. It's now become part of like my signature look. I actually had somebody who I'd known for a couple of years saw me without my hat on and didn't recognize me. Did a double take. So you never know. If you think my hat looks funny, then you're entitled to your opinion, but
It's cool. I'm just saying it's an extra large brim. I know Wally would think your hat's on point. So Wally, now we're on the Wally, our main man. This is
and actually I was going to say, Dom, you don't have to be on the live stream to see it. It's the same hat I'm wearing in my profile picture on Clubhouse.
I'm going to make Tom stand up in one of these videos to see what he looks like, because he does always have his even your GoPro and your videos you've been doing, I see waist up Tom. I want to see shoes up Tom someday.
You can see my feet in some of them. You can look on my social media. You can see full length pictures of me.
Oh, you're muted, Tom.
Oh yeah, look on it. Sorry. So look on my social media. You can see full pictures of me. You can. I have feet. I wear shoes and I wear pants. In the summer, I wear shorts, just like everybody else. Even though on video you only see me like sort of chest up. It's all out there. Look around on my Instagram, my Facebook. It's there to see. I promise.
Hey, I want to share that Tom got me in trouble the other day because we were filming. I have the show Bikes and Hikes, and we're filming and we're looking at a shot, and I'm with the producer, and I said, he's like, let's look at this shot. Are we in frame? I'm like, well, we want our eyes to be across this line. This is what my buddy says, and he says, are you telling the producer how our eyes should be on the screen? And I'm like, oh. And so I said, well, my buddy got nominated for an Emmy. So Tom, would you give us, I thought that was great input. So just basic taking a picture, where should we be on the screen?
Okay. So you're talking about the rule of thirds, right?
Yep.
If I'm correct, that's what you're referring to. Okay,
Yes,
cool.
sir.
So rule of thirds. And for everybody listening, you have this already on the app, on the camera app on your phone, whether you have an iPhone or an Android device. You have an option on your camera app to turn on what they call grid lines, right? And those grid lines are going to turn your screen into a tic-tac-toe board, okay? And so what I want you to do is whenever you take a picture, right? So for example, if I were going to take a picture of Dom, right? What I would want to do is I would want to line up his eyes on the upper line of that tic-tac-toe board, right? So that his head is up towards the top of frame. I don't want his face in that center box, right? I don't want to put him right in the middle. I want to put his eyes on that upper line, right? So what you want to do is you want to put the subject of your image, whether it's a still photograph or a video, same rules apply. You want to put the subject of your image either on one of those grid lines or best, if you can, put them on one of the intersections, one of the 4 intersections of those grid lines, right? And that will instantaneously make your imagery more appealing to people. I promise. It'll work. It'll make your pictures better. Like nothing drives me crazier than when you see people are like, oh, take a picture of me and my friend, and they hand their phone to somebody and they take a picture and they're cut off at the knees, but we see like 4 feet of ceiling above their heads. Like, why are we including the ceiling? Nobody cares about the ceiling. The ceiling is not interesting. It doesn't need to be in the picture, right? Most often the ceiling is like, it's a drop ceiling in an industrial space, or it's just white or whatever. Nobody cares about your ceiling. I'm sorry if you install ceilings. I apologize, but nobody cares about the ceiling, okay? So cut out the ceiling, put their eyes on that top grid line, right? Make it more appealing. Make them, the person you're taking the picture of, should be the focus of the image, right? And they shouldn't be distracted by acres of ceiling or things like that. And they shouldn't look tiny in the frame either. Make sure that you are using them to fill the frame, that they are the most prominent thing in the frame if they're the subject. I hope that helps. Does that answer your question, Dom?
Yeah, excellent stuff. And hey, I'm a believer that when we're in a room like this, if I can get input off of somebody like Tom or Julie or Jay or Prof T, Wally, Charlie, Rita, why wouldn't we do it? Let's take advantage of it. And let's learn something. And if I can take a little better picture rather than these pictures, my son used to be a great photographer for me. And then he grew like a foot over COVID, and every picture's terrible now. So I don't know. He's like aiming it right at I look like, you ever see that show Higglytown Heroes? It was a little kid show where they looked like weebles. That's what I look like in the pictures. All right, I'm moving on. I've talked enough. Wally Green, man, drop in, man. Do your thing. Appreciate you being here. The legend, man. How do we go viral? How do we be like Wally?
Hey, what's up? What's up? It's been a while. Oh man. First thing I want to say. I don't know if I spoke with you like a while ago, but I had a goal of I had this crazy goal. I wanted to be a guest on over 100 podcasts in a year. So I just got back from West Palm Beach 2 days ago, and I've completed my goal of 100 podcasts in a year. So just wanted to throw that out there. So I think
Wally,
that was cool.
and that's awesome. And Rita spoke on that. Julie mentioned that. I'm agreeing. Why did you do that? What were your
Oh,
thoughts?
so this will bring me back to what I actually wanted to talk about. So when you were talking earlier, you were talking about sales pitchy and the no quick fix thing, and I had a conversation yesterday that kind of like really pissed me off with a friend of mine who's actually really successful. That's why it even pissed me off even more. And we were talking because like it's been a crazy last, I want to say, since April. Since April's been crazy. I did my TEDx talk, then I had that huge New York Times article, and then ever since that, it's been just crazy. Like just speaking engagements, events, just a ton of craziness. Like even today, I'm having my second meeting with MSG Network, and I was talking with my friend, and then my friend said to me, he goes, "Wow, man, that's so cool. You're so lucky." And I got so pissed off. I was like, "What do you mean lucky? Are you crazy? I've been doing what I've been doing for 20 years, bro." I said, "Actually, it's not luck. It's a grind. I've been grinding for 20 years. So in my 20th year, I finally got a New York Times article. That's the 20th year. That's a grind, right? And then even my business, it's been 13 years. Like it's time. It's a grind. It's a lot of hell. That blood, sweat, and tears thing. It's a whole real thing. So that conversation just pissed me off, man, because for me as a successful person, you know, to say, someone is lucky, especially from the background I came from, there's nothing lucky about it. I'm lucky. I am lucky. That's lucky to be here, lucky to be alive. That's probably that's where the luck came from. But yeah, man, that conversation pissed me off so much. And like you said before, there's no quick fix. It's not a quick fix. It's a grind. It's consistency. It's even when shit looks like it's not even gonna go right. It's that one push, that come on, I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna get it done. It's not looking right, but you know what? I believe in it, and because I believe in it, I'm gonna get it done, and then it gets done. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that, about there is no quick fix. There is, and if it is a quick fix, then that's the lucky. That's I can say it's lucky. If it happens over a quick fix, then okay, then you're lucky. But when you're grinding, every single day, and back to your question, the reason I do all of this, man, it's I do it because I want to inspire people. I want to share my story. That's the whole reason I'm even on Clubhouse. Like I never did social media. I actually hated social media. I had an Instagram page. I never used it. It was private until the pandemic came. When the pandemic came, then I used it because people on I got on Clubhouse through some podcasting. And people were like, "Yo, we need to DM you, so you need to put on your Instagram." And I was like, "Really?" And I started using Instagram. So I never really did the social media, but then I realized the power of social media, how I could inspire all these kids that growing up the same way I grew up, all these kids that been through all the same shit that I've been through. I realized, wow, you know what, man, if I make a TikTok page, man, I can share through TikTok, and be consistent and grow and have a community. A lot of people that follow me are young kids, a lot of Gen Z kids. That's 90% of my core following on my TikTok is Gen Z. And these are kids that are going through the same things I go through. And I don't necessarily have to talk about those things that I've been through, but sharing through my sport, doing funny things, connecting in the comments, right? Then going live, and then maybe throwing out some things about the way I grew up. It's that connection. It's that helping. If one person, life changes. If one person doesn't commit suicide, right? If one person doesn't go and shoot someone or rob someone or do some dumb thing that's gonna, change their life in such a drastic way forever, then it's well worth it. And that's the reason why I continue to do this, and I'm going to continue to do it until I can't do it no more. And when I can't do it no more, then that's when I'll be like buried and sleeping forever. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. I'm Wally. Always great to be here, guys.
Wally, man, thank you for being here. Thanks for the work you're doing, the work he's doing, man. And I mentioned earlier on about these other platforms like TikTok, Clubhouse, that kind of thing. Wally said it so clear that imagine if Wally wasn't on TikTok sharing his message. Maybe there's one kid that hears his message of hope because he's able to share his story in a different way on that platform. That might resonate, not like he might not be able to do it like that on a LinkedIn or something like that, but he understands, well, on Clubhouse I'll do it like this, in the New York Times or on his TEDx talk. I like how he just dropped those in, right? MSG Network. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. You
Hey,
deserve it.
Dom.
You've been working hard. Go on, Jay.
So, when I come on the stage, I always say Jay from Brooklyn, and I grew up in a part of Brooklyn that was pretty shitty. But I think it's kind of crazy how life works, because the two people on stage that are right next to each other, Jess and Wally, come from the same projects in Brooklyn, like the same exact projects. I don't know if they're from the same building in the projects, but for those of you who don't know, if I made a list of like the top 10 worst projects in New York City, not just Brooklyn, for the two of them to come out of these specific projects and be as successful, not just entrepreneurs, but just human beings, is a miracle. Because, like, I could walk anywhere in New York City and be okay, because that's just who I am. But those projects specifically, I would definitely want to do a double take before I walk through. So I just want to throw flowers to both of them, to be able to come out of the Marlboro projects and be successful human beings. Because for those who don't know, that's a battleground still today. So Jess and Wally, kudos to both of you for who you are.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jay, thanks for dropping that in, man. Really appreciate your perspective on it, man. Wally, just one more question here. It's because so many people would want to do a TEDx, they'd want to be on MSG, uh, the network, at the Garden. Come on, New York Times, awesome stuff. Just give, for somebody that doesn't understand views and things like that on TikTok and things, give us an idea of how many views. And I know because I follow your page and I want to see you play ping pong with a giant slice of pizza. That's on my. He'll play ping pong with all these different things. But how many views would one of your top ones have, Wally?
I think my highest one is 10.7 million views right now, and 9, and then I have ones at 1 million, 2 million, 3, and then you have smaller ones at maybe 20K, sometimes even 5K, and that's another thing with social media in general, right? I explain TikTok in particular because that's what I use every day. TikTok is like your wife or your significant other, right? And the reason I say that is, for the most part, you're gonna love them a lot. They're gonna be sweet to you, and everything you want, you're gonna get. Life is gonna be great, but there's no such thing as perfect life, right? So there are gonna be times when you're not gonna love them that much, right? When they're gonna piss you off, and what do you do? Do you break up with them? No, you don't break up with them. Do you divorce them? No, you don't divorce them. You hang in there, you keep pushing, right? And you see and you figure out, what can I do better to change this situation right here, right now, right? So that's what, for me, TikTok is like, and and all social media should be like for everyone. So yeah, you'll get your 10 million views. Yeah, you'll get your 100K, your 2 million, 3 million. But guess what? You're also going to get your 5K views, right? And you also might get your 1K views, right? And if you think about it, going from 10 million to 1K, you're like, oh my God, that's insane, right? But what do? You say, okay, cool. This is 1K, no problem. Maybe the app's not loving me right now. Or maybe people just don't like this particular post. All right, what can I do better? How can I fix this to get those views that I do want? So then you go back to the drawing board, you look at it, maybe you change it, or maybe you leave it there. Because one thing I want to say is really, really important is for social media. A lot of people they get a very low view, and you know what they do to this video? They either delete it or they private it. And I'm gonna tell you why that's a bad idea, right? And I'm like, and forget about the whole algorithm thing because that's a whole nother thing. I'm gonna tell you why in reality why it's a bad idea. Because maybe there was one person that could have benefited from that one video that you deleted, right? Maybe there was a message that most people didn't like, but there was one person that message with the low views could have changed. Now, wouldn't you say that wouldn't you say that video was worth keeping there, right? Even though it got 100 views? Of course it is, because one person's life got changed by that video. So that's why I always say don't delete any videos. If you don't like a video, if you see you got low views on it, figure out what you could do better, but leave it there because there's always going to be someone that can be touched by that video. So thank you very much once again. My name is Wally, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm done speaking.
Thanks, Wally. Appreciate that, man. And I couldn't agree more. I think, people often will get really hyper self-critical about a video, especially if it doesn't get a lot of views or it's got a low number of views or a low amount of engagement for their platform. They'll get hyper self-critical and they'll say, oh, I'm going to take that one down. It wasn't very good. And I agree that like that video could absolutely has the potential to impact at least one person's life. And isn't it worth leaving it up for that reason alone? But then on top of that, when people go through your profile, because let's be honest, that's what they do when they discover your content. What they're going to do is they're going to click on your profile, and we all know this because this is what we all do too, right? When we find somebody we enjoy, whose content we enjoy, we click on their profile, we go through and we look at other pieces of content, other videos they've posted, other things they've shared, right? So we go through and we do a little audit of their content, and the other compelling reason to leave up that video that didn't perform as well is that people like to see improvement, right? They like to see you evolve and change and improve and grow as a person and as a creator on these different platforms. And so if you leave that up, it gives them the opportunity to see you and to see you make a little bit of a mistake maybe, or a little bit of a stumble, or not do something quite as well as you wanted to in that piece of content, and then leave it up, right? It helps build authenticity. It helps them see you as an authentic person, right? Who makes mistakes, who has the same sort of struggles and issues that they have, so they can relate to you. And that's incredibly important. So absolutely 100% leave those videos up. And then somebody else who's a marketer told me that the last thing you ever want to do is delete videos if you don't want it to be shared, because like, let's say you made a mistake in posting it and you cut off, part of the video or something. Once you've posted it, the suggestion is don't take it down, just make it private, right? But leave it on your profile to some extent, because apparently, this is what I've been told, the algorithm will deprioritize your content if you start deleting things from your profile. So just something else to keep in mind. Wally, I saw you flashing there. Did you have something you wanted to add to that?
Yeah. So the reason the algorithm does that is because way back when, I mean, even still now, they kind of still do it, but it's not as prominent as before. People sold accounts, and the way they sold account was they would build an account to, let's say, 1 million followers or 20,000 followers, and then they would delete all the videos and then sell the account, right? So that's a way to deter people from selling accounts like that. So that's another reason why it's always uh, good to not delete videos. And that's why you get into a low prioritization, because that's how people do it when they want to sell accounts. So I just want to throw that out there. And one more thing, quick TikTok hack for those of you who are on TikTok. If you ever, let's say you made a video, you posting it, and as you post it, you're like, oh my god, no, I forgot to put the caption, I forgot to do this, right? So I'll tell you what you do immediately as soon as you notice it, right? Because there's a timer that goes while the video is loading. Just swipe off the app, like close the app out, leave it closed for like a few minutes, and then that video uploads process will stop, and then the video will go into your drafts. It'll stay in your drafts, and then you can go back and rework the video. I just wanted to throw it out there. It's a quick hack that a lot of people don't know, which is really simple. So, yep, I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Hey, can I jump in a sec?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Wally, that was really amazing information. Thank you so much. If somebody could maybe back channel me or get with me after the call, my Facebook is all screwed up. Something was wrong on my phone. 1 minute I couldn't get in, and then it's been over like a week or so, and I just went in. I can get in on my PC, and I was trying to change my password, and now I can't even get into my own account. It's everything I've put in. It's telling me doesn't exist. It's very frightening, and I don't know what to do. So if somebody could help me outside of here, I would appreciate it. I don't want to hog up your mic. This is Prof T. Thanks.
Coffee, hit me up after this.
Oh, Denai. Yeah. Thanks, Denai. Hey, girl.
Okay. Hey.
I want to thank everybody in this room. I want to make sure everyone shares. This is Julie, and I know I cut the guys off, Dom and Tom. They're amazing. They just are of service mentality. When I first came into the room a billion years ago, I immediately knew that they were service before sales. I didn't even know what the heck they did, actually. But I'm like, oh, these guys really know what they're talking about. So let's share the love. 29 people here, 15 shares. Let's share the room. Let's grow it for Dom and Tom. Take it over, guys.
Julie, thank you, and we appreciate you. And Jay gave you the name of the Pied Piper, and so we are going to keep that. As Julie is a person that just high impact, authentic, genuine, and you can't say enough nice things. And she probably over delivers and under promises, and that's the kind of person that I'm thrilled to have in my life. So thank you, Julie. It is much appreciated. And you also surround yourself with all-stars. It's like an all-star cast. The Pied Piper brings an all-star cast with her. So you've introduced us to so many fine people. So thank you very much. One of the things back in the day, my friend Neil Haley got us started on Clubhouse, and he was saying, "Hey, this is a great place to be." And Neil's great. He's doing my buddy. I see him doing all kinds of cool stuff in Pittsburgh right now. But one of the things that he always said was, imagine you're talking in this room right now. You're talking to 27 people live. Imagine the power of that. It is practice. So Clubhouse, if you're not a fan of social audio or something like that, because we are live streaming this too. So let me go into the value of Clubhouse. Clubhouse, you can meet people from all over the world. You hear we've got people from Brooklyn. I'm from Pittsburgh. Tom, I think's in Connecticut. Julie's in Chicago. There's people from all over the place.
Hold on. I'm in New York.
Okay.
I'm north of New York City. I'm about 60 miles north of Manhattan, in Putnam County, New York. I am in New York. I'm in the Hudson Valley of New York. I'm not in Connecticut.
Okay, he's
Wow,
right.
Tom seems deeply offended.
You see how fast he jumped on that?
He's like, whoa.
Jay knows. It's I'm a New Yorker, right? Like, I'm a New Yorker. Don't confuse
I love
me.
that.
He stood up strong, and we got people from overseas, all over the place. So we're thankful. But what I was going to with this social audio thing is that it is a chance to practice your message. It's a chance to meet new people. It's a chance to speak live. You can do a lot of other things and not speak live to 10, 20, get in Julie's room, and there might be 500 people. So it's an opportunity that you should take. Now, speaking of Julie's, we're going to meet our other friend, Julie Rockstar. That would be great if you put that right after, like in parentheses, Julie Rockstar. So podcast host, stay on course, ingredient for success. Julie, rock, what's going on today?
Hey friends, how are you? Happy to be here. Happy to be with my bestie Julie Loken. Hi Jules. And hi Jay. Hi Jess. All my friends are here actually.
All your friends' names start with J's too, by the way.
That's right. We're going to write a rap about that, by the way. And yeah, so what's going on? Hey guys, I have this new podcast. I've had it since February. I'm 14 episodes in. I've learned a lot. I've had some amazing guests, and I'm inspired every time I have a guest, noticing my energy, my passion that's coming through in each and every episode. and it's kind of transformed the way I think about podcasting, because I was a little skeptical in the beginning because all Julie Loken ever talked about was podcasting. So we had a lot of words about that, right, Jules? And and I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, like Julie was like the anti-podcaster because I would just naturally am drawn to talking about the power of podcasting. So rooms would just automatically turn into a topic about podcasting. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're talking about podcasting again." But she didn't have one at the time. And the transformation I've seen with, she's definitely a convert. So I'll let you take over, Julie.
Yeah, so I don't know what you want me to share. I know we were talking about sales and being salesy. And one of the things that I always say to Julie is, is what we're doing making the boat go faster? I had one of the guys that wrote a book called Will It Make the Boat Go Faster? He won the Olympics for rowing in the year 2000. I had him on my podcast. And ever since he was on my podcast, I'm consistently asking the question, will it make the boat go faster? Is what we're doing contributing to our purpose? Is it contributing to the reason why we're in business and things of that nature? Because I am completely a startup business. I am not completely on my feet yet. I am working towards being a full entrepreneur, but I'm transitioning. I still have like a regular sort of contract, and I'm really trying my hardest. It's so much work. It is a grind, but it's fun. It's super fun because it's something I'm very passionate about. And so, I was hearing, I'm not sure who was speaking before, but it was like, you work all these years to get where you are. there's no there there's no luck in it, but you know what my dad used to say, the harder I work, the luckier I get. That's what my dad used to say. And it's true, because the more you don't give up on your dreams, the more you keep consistent in your pursuit to whatever it is you're doing and not give up, that's where the success lies. And I don't know if many of you know this, but right before my father passed away, he literally sent me his life story to finish. And the book that I ended up writing was Stay on Course: The Life and Legacy of Ennio Riga, Chef of the Stars. And then, everything that I do now is sort of in that realm. It's like, stay on course. If the world falls down on your shoulders, brush it off and keep going your way. um, and that was the message that my dad kept giving me, is like, life's gonna knock you down. He's like, uh, you know, 7 times down, 8 times up. That was just his mantra. And he knew that life was hard. He knew that there were gonna be obstacles in our way at all different corners. But the truth is if you don't give up, if you pursue your dreams, you will be a success. And I'm very excited to let you guys all know that I'm going to be recording with Jess on Friday. I think I'm going to be one of Jess's first guests on her podcast. So I'm real excited about that. And yeah, we're just kind of building a tribe here. We're building a tribe of people that are on the same journey and looking at the same purpose. I'm very focused on purpose, and I've been doing rooms about it and just continuously putting that purpose in front of us. So thank you for letting me share today. And I wish you all a great day. And I'd love to hear any of your thoughts in response to my share.
Julie,
That's
rock
awesome.
star. We're going to go to Dania. Dania, she was flashing in. Go on.
Denia.
Dania, you have a question for Julie?
I have a question, more of a statement. So, congratulations, on starting your podcast journey, and Jess, congratulations on your very first podcast. I've actually had Patsy on my show. It's really interesting how the whole podcasting thing works, because when we started, it was just like we were just doing stuff on Blog Talk. So now it's gotten kind of, it's kind of like the thing to do podcasting and whatnot. So we actually, I'm with a company called Next Legacy. Like I said, we started off on Blog Talk in 2000. The company started on Blog Talk in 2007. I joined the team around 2012, but I've been on different shows and whatnot since 2010. So now we have our own application and all that. We've had that for like a year. So it's really interesting to kind of see the different perspectives on podcasting and, and what it is now as compared to how it used to be. I think the difference between now podcasting now as opposed to back then it was all audio, and now people are adding more of a visual aspect to it, which is a different aspect too. But people don't understand that you can do podcasting without video. You always have an option, to do one or the other. I prefer to do audio. I don't think I always have done podcasting with video was when I was doing my radio show at Illinois Media School. But aside from that, um, but I definitely want to say that, when it comes to podcasting, the biggest thing about it is just having a good conversation and having fun with it. A lot of people make the mistake of focusing so much on I have to have all the glitz and the glamour and this and the third. You don't need that in order to have a good podcast. All you need is great topics, great guests, and great content. Your content is really what's going to put you over. And let me be very clear. Despite what you think, you do not need to have negative craziness in order to have a quality podcast. I'm going to say this again because there's this huge misconception that if you don't have some drama or whatever, you're never going to do the numbers. It's not true. You can uplift people. You can showcase artists. You can show love. You can put people in their best light because that's how you retain your guests. So, my name is Denai and I'm speaking.
Denaya, thanks, man. Thanks, you appreciate that. Good tips. And I wanted to just double back on something Julie was saying about that persistence, that hard work, like Wally talked about. I had a meeting one day with an attorney, and they were launching a book, and this attorney had been award winning, and they wanted to know why they hadn't succeeded yet in the book business. And I said, well, you don't. First I asked them. I said, well, how did you get so successful as an attorney? And they said, well, I worked my ass off. And I said, okay, what else? They said, I advertised. And I said, what else? They said, I went to school. And so they gave me all these reasons why they became a successful attorney. And I said to them, let me ask you this, why would this world, this media world, this publishing world be any different? You already know what it takes. Like Julie Rockstar is saying, she knows what it takes. And now she's out there doing the same thing, working her ass off like Wally. He's put in the 20 years. You don't get to jump the line. You have to earn it. Now, there are hard skills, like the military training and things like that. You can learn hard skills. You can get tools. You can learn how to speak better because you knocked on doors. You might learn the intricacies of sales or something like that. But you never get to jump the line. It's the hard work. It's the dedication. So I appreciate that. When the conversation goes that way, I want to salute everybody who is putting in like that hard work. Denaya, Julie, all you guys, you're kicking ass out there. Just stay the course, right? Stay the course. Don't stop believing in yourself, and you'll get to where you're going. You don't need to be there tomorrow. There's no artificial date on why you need to be there tomorrow. Just stay the course, keep putting in that work, and then all of a sudden things change. Charlie Cifarelli, do you want to add something?
I just want to add this. As you know, I was ready to walk away from my story. I wasn't going to go any further with it. I was going to go back to my life of relaxing on the hill. And I joined Clubhouse. I met you in the group. And I think since then, there's been about 4 or 5 million shares on podcasts. I know that I definitely have been able to reach people. And I've gotten the feedback from people that they were close to saying no, they could not beat an addiction, no, they could not continue with their business, and no, they didn't have the fortitude to get out of bed in the morning and face life on life's terms. So that would have been very selfish of me. And then Wally also mentioned that, you do a podcast and there's a reel that gets 3.5 million, then you fly out to California, do a great show and it gets 112 views. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I like the show with 112 views because that deals with real topics. And the one with 3.5 million is talking about death row, blood and gore. So I'm just grateful I stayed the course. And I think that a guy like me, which is a heat-seeking missile for those that need some motivation and they need some help up. I'm that right person. So thanks for letting me jump in there.
Charlie Cifarelli, thank you, brother. Okay, Julie says we should reset. That's what she told me before, so I think that's probably a good thing. Julie, teach us about resetting. What does that mean to somebody who's hosting a Clubhouse room? What does resetting, Julie Loken, what does that mean?
It's the real boring part where I come on and remind everybody to share, like, follow the club, follow Dom and Tom and Rita and Charlie, Jay, Prof T, Jess, Wally, Julie, Jackie, Bridget, Mr. Ah, Jen, Danaya, Leslie, Bob, Rosalito, Ellie, and everyone in the audience, because this is a hopping room. I feel like I'm learning so much. I mean, flash your mics if you have learned one thing today, because it seems on Clubhouse these days that you don't necessarily learn. It's there's drama or there's just forced sales, but actually learning from each other is so important. So, guys, I want to see a couple more shares. I'm daring you to do it. I want to get this room to 40. I want to make sure at least 100 people heard the messages of Dom and Tom and their motley crew. So thanks, everybody.
Julie Loken, thank you. The Motley Crew. That's a pretty good one. I had my friend Harry Spate met Julie at Podfest, and
The stories we have.
I
Oh
hear
my
about
gosh,
you guys. I
Dom.
mean,
You didn't tell me.
no, I mean, he's
He's
just so
wild and
happy.
crazy.
His whole life has changed. He's so motivated after talking to you. As he said, even the room you were speaking in was amazing, and you had the room chanting from up on the
We
stage.
did.
They
It
were
was
like
so fun. It
rocking
was crazy.
Podfest. So keep up the good work. Okay, let's go on here. Clubhouse, podcasting, publishing, and social media. We've met a lot of nice people. Ooh, kind people. This is Jackie Brannigan. I love this. Please do your best to live in kindness. What else do we need? You get the mic when you have something that cool in your profile. So,
Jackie.
Jackie, go on.
Thank you so much, Dominic.
She's making us international today. Sorry to cut in, but she's making us an international room, like legitimately.
Yeah, I'm in Ireland, Dominic, and I actually, Julie, just sent you a photo a few minutes ago on your WhatsApp, so have a look at it. But thank you so much for having me. Is there anything in particular I can answer? But before you ask the question, can I also say the purpose of a room reset is for new people who come into a room to make them aware of the topic, the flow, and allow them get up to speed on what you're discussing. So that just adding that.
Jackie, thank you. And that's great because we live stream this as well to like on LinkedIn and places where people might not believe in social audio. They might not know about social audio. So here's something I want to know. I see Jackie has 20,000 followers. I have 500 or whatever I have. What is the process? How did you build this? What is part of your journey to do that kind of thing?
Wow. Well, no one is more surprised than I am, Dominic. Let's just put it that way. But the process was just showing up and supporting people and sharing, adding value when I could, and be consistent. So consistency is huge, and I think you will agree with any form of social media, be it podcasting, whatever, that you need to show up, you need to be consistent, and then as people get to know you from that consistency, they will decide whether they, click with you, whether they like you, whether they like the content you're sharing. So, yeah, I would say just keep at it. It's a bit of a journey. You can have ups and downs, and especially as you grow on the app, you can sometimes become a target for people. But that's more down to their limiting beliefs than anything you're doing. So I would just say keep at it. And if this wasn't on social audio and being sent out to so many different social media channels, there is another phrase I would use, But for now, I'll leave it at that, Dominic. Thanks so much for having me. It's Jackie in the Red, handing back the baton.
Jackie in the Red. Thank you, Jackie. Great tips, great thoughts. And you bring up an important subject just of anybody in this room, as you do good things, as you do big things, there are going to be people that try to bring you down. But just know that you're making a difference. You're doing great things. That is part of. I want to say, Tom, this is going to be my congratulations for the next person that gets that naysayer. That, like, even while I'm sitting here today, I got some texts from my buddies that are watching, calling me chubby, laughing about how I talk, whatever. That just goes with the program, that's part of the game. So whatever face you get, from your mother-in-law, from an ex-boyfriend, from the company you used to work for that's Googling your stuff now that you're in your own world, whatever. Congratulations that you made it to that level that people are talking about you. Think about that. They're talking about you. They're out somewhere, and you're affecting them with your positivity, with your message, with your
Dom,
story. Go on, Jay.
I just want to interject something here, real quick. So when I said earlier when I spoke, I said there's a difference between a hustler and a con person. Jackie's the perfect example. Jackie's a hustler, and when people say, "Hey, hustler," like it has like this negative taint to it, but it's really not. The most successful business people in the world are hustlers. They're hustling their brand, whatever it may be. Jackie is the epitome of a hustler. She's out here. She hustled her 20,000 followers. She's out here spreading the good word, doing what she has to do, right? And I say all that to say this because the room that I host, How to Spot a Con Man or Con Woman on Clubhouse, with my partner in crime fighting, Julie Logan, and a so-called influencer, air quotes, because I hate that word. I hate the word influencer because we're all influencers. If you have 20,000 followers or you had 2 followers, we all influence something or somebody in our lives, right? So the so-called POS really came to us, and I didn't know Jackie. I shared space with Jackie, so I don't really know anybody on this app. Reached out to us and said, "Oh, Jackie is doing some nefarious things with a partner of hers. But look into it." And there's like 14 or 15 victims and blah blah blah. And this influencer seemed like a really nice person, and I had shared space with this person quite often, and we spoke offline, and we became acquaintances offline. He had no reason to lie. So we looked into it, and and we wanted to believe this influencer, air quotes, so bad that we just kept digging and digging, and we kept peeling back the layers on the onion, and nothing came up. And when it got to the point where I said to this influencer, air quotes again, bring us victims, because we're not finding anything other than she's just a nice Irish lady just trying to hustle her, whatever she's doing. And he said, no, you know what? Maybe it's better I just step back into the shadows and just not do anything. Me copa kind of deal. And he literally came on this app just to ruin this woman. And, that's why you have to be careful on these social media apps who you go around casting aspersions on. Because people will believe what comes out of your mouth. And, Jackie, I got to know Jackie because of the deep dive that Julie and I did. I got to know Jackie on this app, off this app. And she's just an amazing human being. She really is. To me, she's a gangster. And I don't throw that term around easily. She'll sit here and she has that cute little Irish accent. And she's very calm. And, I apologize for the person I'm about to use, but I wouldn't fuck with Jackie. She's tough. She didn't back down from this bully. And when I say gangster, she's tough. And this guy came at her with full guns blazing, and Jackie didn't back down. So she stood in her truth. And I think that's something that we all need to do, Dominic, is stand in our truth. If you're telling the truth, you never have to look over your shoulders. So Jackie's sitting here. She's being humble, but to me, she is an influencer because she influenced me. So I'm gonna park there.
Hey man, way to bring it home on that one. I have a 13-year-old daughter. I have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, and I'm always tell my daughter about the truth and the harder right, and that you don't have to worry about keeping your story straight. You don't have to worry about making people mad. This is what I said, you know. So I try to impress that in her, but then she tells me she brushed her teeth and she did not. So you still have those kind of problems when you have kids. But let's meet. Let's meet. My thing says we're going to meet Bridget now. Bridget, you hear what we're talking about? All things. And really, this room is all things publishing, Clubhouse, podcast, and social media. So, Bridget, meet, talk, go on.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Bridget, and I am a podcast host for Morning Soul Shine with Bridget, where we bring a little sunshine to your soul. I'm so excited about being in the room today. Such great information. I am just so inspired. Thank you for letting me be on your stage. I'm Bridget, and I'm complete.
Hey, Bridget. Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us. That's one of the things I just pushed follow, so I am a new follower of Bridget. You meet new people. Thanks for bringing your positive energy here. So stop back anytime. We'll be here next week. All right. Okay. We'll be here every week. We try to be here every week. Okay.
Actually, Dominic, do you mind if I just say something? It's Jackie.
Jackie, anybody that wants to flash. And like I said earlier, that if it gets out of control, then I'll just have Jay bust some chops. So Jackie, go on.
No better person to bust chops, I tell you that much. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I will be setting up my own podcast. So Julie very kindly sent me her book, which I received,
Oh,
and
you
I
got
was,
it. I'm so excited.
yes, that was the photo I was sending you, Julie. So I want to thank you so much for that and the support you give to people who are starting out and haven't a clue what they're doing. So I just want to say thank you so much and acknowledge Julie for that. Thanks, Dominic. It's Jackie handing back the baton.
You got it. Julie, were you flashing right before that?
I was just excited she got the book, so I'm thrilled, and I didn't get to see the picture, but I will.
Okay. I love authors. Anytime you have a book, I love to see picture of author with the book, picture of your audience wants to see picture of author with the book, picture of author opening the book, video of author opening the book. If any of your friends that are willing to share a picture of them with the book, that your friends and family and following love to see that. It also shows them a bit, whoa, other people are reading this book. Maybe I'm missing out on something. So that would be my publishing tip, that you might want to, if you can, get people to share those pictures. And you can even put reviews on, like my friend Charlie Cifarelli. He wrote a review for one of my books recently, and he put a picture of him with the book. So something you can do. Okay, let's meet. It's time to meet Mr. AAH, Mr. Ah. See, that's how silly I am. It's probably Mr. Ah, but I said Mr. AHH. So student of life, not a troll, privately chill, Mr. Ah, Mr. Ah, Mr. Rob, Mr. Okay, what do you got, my man? Ask a question, share a tip.
Peace. It's been great for one being in this space, and thank you for having me on stage. And I've been listening to a lot of great conversation. I have actually a question. And listening to everybody and listen to the theme, and it's a point that you talked about earlier, that there's no quick fix to life. There's no 1, 2, 3 step, 7-step program to get to where you're trying to get at. And my question is centered around sort of the theme that you all were talking about, is a mentality when it comes to that ability to break through certain glass ceilings in life. If you were to break it down in stages, you have like a novice stage, then you got beginners, intermediate, advanced, then master, and then the concept of like a grandmaster, right? And for me, I think each level you kind of have those moments of epiphany, right, where your skill sets or that particular domain that you're working to be a grandmaster at, you get that feeling of euphoria that starts to separate you from that cohort of individuals, whether that's beginner, intermediate, etc. And being in a room full of masters and maybe grandmasters, I'm not sure. I wanted to ask, what is at least one thing mentally, right, in your mentality that changed and you knew at that moment that you became a master at that domain or even a grandmaster? For me, I know that at the very least, I only have one area that I'm confident enough to say I'm on the cusp of mastership, and that is, being a student of life in and of itself. And I do know at least one tip when it comes to like grandmastership, like a mentality would be being able to teach another or being able to transfer your skills into another individual outside yourself to bring them to the point of mastership. That was a lesson someone taught me earlier in my life. And when it comes to being a master at your craft and your domain, what is that mentality for you that you realize, yes, I'm great at this? What's one thing?
Thanks for your question. And I struggle with the word. And sometimes I get hung up on little things like this, but I struggle with the word mastery because, to me anyway, there is a suggestion with that word that you have gone as far as you can go, right? That if you've mastered something, there's nothing more that you can learn, nothing more that you can grow, or no more room to grow or improve in that space. So I don't tend to use that word. I talk about I have what I would refer to as a level of expertise and experience in my industry. We've talked about this before. There's that it was popularized by Malcolm Gladwell, that this idea of 10,000 hours that it takes to sort of become proficient or become expert, become really good at something. And I did some, at the urging of a coach, I did some back of the napkin, back of the envelope math real fast and realized that I have about 45,000 hours ish in my industry over the last 21 years. So I have what I would argue is demonstrably a high level of expertise when it comes to production. But I wouldn't say that I'm a master of it because I'm always learning new things. I'm always learning new approaches. I'm always learning new shortcuts. I'm always learning. And I think that is maybe the one thing that has remained consistent from the first day that I started working in production to now, is that I'm always looking to learn. I'm always looking to improve and to hone my craft, because I 100% recognize that I will never perfect it. I will never, ever, ever achieve perfection in anything that I do. The best I can do is to attempt to achieve perfection. And so that's what I try to do all the time. I'm always looking to grow. I'm always looking to learn. And I'm always looking to surround myself with people who I can learn from. And that's, I think that's how you get better. That's how you improve, is you surround yourself with opportunities to learn. You create opportunities to learn, and then you maximize those opportunities. And that's how you improve. And that's how maybe you move to what you were calling, mastery or grand mastery of different subjects or topics or fields of expertise. But that's what I think you should do. And that's how I know, for myself, that's how I know that I am, I'm being the best version of myself that I can be professionally and personally, is by continuing to learn and allowing myself to change over time, right? To avoid remaining fixed, but to actually encourage change over time. That's what I think. I think, Tom, did we have somebody else? Okay, Julie Rock was
I
flashing.
wanted I
She
wanted to
bounced
throw
out.
Tom. I wanted to throw something in here real quick
All
if
right,
you don't mind.
go for it, Jay.
So, I'm going to say something I haven't said before on this app or in any room. So, for those of you who don't know, Tom and I are working on a project together. I'm not going to say what the project is, but the reason Tom and I are working on this project is because I like Tom. I picked Tom. I had a billion other choices, but something about Tom said to me, I want Tom. And offline, I was adamant I want Tom. My gut said I want Tom. So I say all that to say this. So Tom, I know Mr. Malik, uh, brilliant young man. He wants to get into filmmaking. So I'm trying to make the connection here between Malik and yourself. I told him I would reach out to some people that I know in filmmaking, and to be honest with you, because I'm so caught up in my life and what we're working on and other things, would it be all right if Malik reached out to you in the back channel and maybe you could help him or tutor him in the right direction to get into filmmaking?
Absolutely. You know the answer to that, Jay. You know the answer is yes. So yeah, Mr. Ah, reach out to me in the back channel. And also I see Dr. Tachi flashing. Dr. Tachi, you want to add something? I don't want to volunteer you, but I would recommend that Malik reach out to you as well, but I don't want to volunteer you.
No, absolutely. You no, that's okay. I get voluntold all the time. So yes, absolutely. If you want to reach out to me as well, I am here for you also, Malik. But Tom, I was flashing because I think you're my twin. Never mind that you're Nigerian. Now you're not Nigerian. I think that
How do you know he's not Nigerian, Dr.
you know what,
Tachi?
you may
He's
very
not
well
from
be.
Connecticut, though. He's not from Connecticut. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm
There you
I am
go.
also, for the record, I am also not Nigerian. Just to be almost as clear as my complexion.
But you know what? Do your DNA. You may have a percentage of Nigerian. You never know. So I am really, really with you on the whole thing because as you were talking, I have the same problem with the word expert. Like I say that I have expertise, but I always tell people that the moment you say that you're an expert, you don't think you have anything else to learn. Now, other people can call me that. Other people can say those things, and I can say I have a level of expertise. But once you put those limits, that's like putting a ceiling above what else you can learn. And I want the sky to be the limit for me at least. So I'm 100% with you that labeling and nomenclature has a lot to do with how you think about yourself. I coming from academe as well. You see some professors who, especially when they get, tenured ones, because you have that level, you're assumed to be an expert and you think you have nothing else to learn. And this is why you're still you think PowerPoint is technology, those types of things. So I encourage everyone to leave your ceiling open, leave the sky as the limit, and not label yourself in a way that says you have nothing else to learn. I release the mic.
Wally Green, go on. You flashed off.
Yeah, I know what. I also agree with both of you 150%. Like, I think that master, all these categories that we put things in, like that. I mean, like she said, it means that there's nothing possible that you can learn. Do I have my 10,000 hours in my sport? I have probably quadruple that number, right? There's not much that anyone, forget about America, in the entire world can tell me about my sport, right? Because I've played in every major country in the world at the highest level possible. Do I know a lot? I know more than a lot, but things are always changing, right? Things are always evolving, right? There's no way that we can know every single thing every time. It's impossible because as the world changes, as people changes, as things evolve, then those are new things that we have to learn. So if we're still learning, right, then we're not a master. So that's why I also have a problem with that word master as well.
Mr. Ah, what do you think? Are those good answers for you?
Yes. I guess I had a poor choice of words in the semantics I use in trying to describe the question. So I guess in using the word expertise, what I was really trying to hone in on is um, what in your mentality, right, showed that different elevation when it comes to your expertise. So as far as when you got to a blockade, like we all reach plateaus in certain areas as we're learning and as we're going through different things in life. Um, and there are common, threads of plateaus, like writer's block is one thing you can think of, or even just that kind of blockade of mentality and expertise from when you first started, and it was, you know, kind of hard to do a basic if we use basketball, for example, it's hard to dribble, right? You had to look at the ball as you dribbled the ball. And then you get to a level where you can dribble without looking. Now you get to a level where, you know, you're not really even thinking about it, if that makes sense. Where now you can just reflex and body movement. You can, you know, do a between the legs or a crossover. And you're not consciously putting, you know, effort in those actions. So what I mean is, in your field, what is a mentality or a point of mentality that changed, that kind of broke past that plateau feeling, um, in that field? If that makes more sense.
Yeah, Mister. The one thing I'd like to answer on this is there was a moment where I decided to be Dominick Domasky and nobody else. I'm this guy with the muffled voice from Pittsburgh that talks about getting beat up or going broke. And I tell stories and help other people tell stories. I want to help people tell their stories. But the moment I realized that I should quit trying to be Tom, that I should quit trying to be some guy that Gary Vee. I love Gary Vee, but I'm not Gary Vee. I don't do that. I don't swear all the time or this or that. I'm just going to be me, man. And the more me I can be, the more it seems that my ship launches upright. The more I try to compete with 50 other people at one time and I had a friend one time. She said, if you are always looking forward and always looking backwards, you will end up cockeyed. And so, as long as I'm on mission to share inspiration, help more people share inspiration, just be me, then I'm going to be all right, my friend. So that's my answer to that question. Tom, I saw you flash.
Yeah, so there's this thing. Here's what popped into my head. This is just how my crazy brain works. But what popped into my head was there's this thing in evolution called punctuated equilibria, right? And there's this theory that evolution doesn't follow sort of a straight line, right? It doesn't follow like sort of a straight trajectory. If you put it on like a bar graph, right, it's not a 45-degree angle going up across the bar graph, right? That you, as you travel over time, you'll hit sort of what I see as like the easiest way to analogize this is like you hit challenges, right? So you hit a challenge, and if you overcome that challenge, then you rise to like sort of the next level, right? And you plateau, kind of maybe move up a little bit over time, but basically plateau until you hit another challenge that forces you to grow and overcome that next challenge, right? And so that's how I think of things, right? And I think the best way, I don't know that it's a mindset shift. I think you kind of always have to have the mindset that your goal is to improve in order to sort of actually move upwards in your career over time. So I think you have to always have this mindset that the goal is to improve, every single day, that's what you're showing up to do, is to be the best version of yourself personally and professionally that you can be. Right. And so if you think about it in terms of punctuated equilibria, then what I would say the approach is, or the best way to sort of spur that change to escape that plateau and to move up to the next level, is to take on challenges that not only are you uncertain you'll be successful at, but that actually it's more likely you'll fail at than succeed. Right. So look for opportunities to challenge yourself in such a way that it's actually more likely that you'll fail at that challenge on the first go around than it is that you'll succeed, because ultimately what will come out of that is growth. Right. And so you will fail, you will learn from that failure, you will grow, you will improve. And then next time you face that same challenge or a similar challenge, then you have a much greater likelihood of being able to overcome it. Right. And so that's how I would approach it. But I think it's not a mindset shift every time you improve. I think it's always having the mindset of looking to improve no matter what. Like, that is the goal. My goal is to be better later today and tomorrow and next week and next year at what I do than I am right now. Right. That's my goal. My goal is to always be better tomorrow. I hope that helps.
Loving it, man. Go on, Mr.
Oh, I was gonna say that put a new frame of perspective to view it at. Gratitude.
Better every day, man, inch by inch. So we are going on here. Clubhouse, podcasting, publishing, and social media. We're going to meet 6 new people if they hang around with us. Bob, what do you got for us? Ask a question, drop a tip, man. Thanks for stopping by. Bob
Thank you.
suited up too. I like the tie, man. Go on.
Thanks, Dominic. So my name is Bob Chesick, and for 20 years I've run a company with a business partner called Chespin Corporation out of Newcastle County, Delaware. So
Hi,
we
Bob.
incorporate this.
Sorry.
Hey,
Bob's a good
hey,
guy. Bob's a good guy, everybody.
oh, thank you. And thank you, Jay, for inviting me up on stage as well. So I'm an incorporator, registered agent, business coach, consultant, not a lawyer, not an accountant. I don't give legal or tax advice, 20 years in the industry. And I jumped in the room today because actually yesterday I was talking with a longtime colleague of mine, and we were doing rooms on Clubhouse, and we think we may convert it into a podcast. So I decided to jump in the room and listen in on the conversation given the topic. And been enjoying it so far and like what you guys are talking about. Lots of solid business advice here um, across the board. And so I'll give I'll give a tip and then I'm going to ask a question. And I'm sorry if my question's very 101 level, but when it comes to podcasting, I don't consider myself an expert on it. The tip I always want to tell people, because I've been dealing with, I do a lot of corporate compliance issues and things like annual reports, good standings, and all that. Only going to say this: if you guys are running these businesses, pay attention to that stuff on the back end and talk to your registered agents to make sure you're keeping up with your compliance, and don't take shortcuts. I've had to have a lot of very difficult conversations with people recently to tell them they owe the state thousands and thousands of dollars in penalties, because they haven't been keeping up with the reports, sometimes for a couple of years in a row. And the repair on it's very expensive if you miss the deadline. So this is the season when annual reports are typically due. So check with your state, and if you have any questions, feel free to send me a back channel. I'll let you know what the due date is on the reports for your state. And for my question, Dominic, sorry.
You're good to go, brother. Go. You're good.
Oh. So what I wanted to ask, and this is about podcasting in particular, because as I said, the person I'm working with, he's a little more familiar with on podcasts than I am, because he's actually hosted and presented them. But I'd like to know, for my own reference, what do you guys see as like the best way to distribute podcasts? Like, I know there's apps and you can find them, on app. You can find them in the various app stores and everything. But what have you found? Like, if there's one tip you can give that's like the most effective way to make sure people see your podcast and respond to it, what's the one power tip you'd give?
Julie, Dr. Tachi, Jess, you
Oh,
want to answer that?
I'm biting. I'm like chomping at the bit here, Dom. But if Dr. Tachi or Jess want to jump in,
We'll go
I
like
can.
this: Julie, and then Dr. Tachi, and then if anybody else flashes, go on.
Tom, do you have a podcast right now, Bob?
No, I do not.
Okay, so you need a hosting platform like Lisbon, Captivate, Podetize, which I'm on. There's Buzzsprout. There's 1,000 billion different podcasting hosting platforms. You want to make sure your RSS feed is uploaded to every possible nook and cranny on the internet that you can upload it to. That really helps with growing your podcast. Discoverability is not a thing with podcasting. So it's really all up to you and your ingenuity. It's about having amazing guests like Dom or Tom on your podcast, and then they'll share it with their audience. So RSS feed, hosting platform, and who you have on your podcast. So that was a very quick version, because I know that the boys have been here for 2 hours and I'd love to hear from the others.
Thanks, Julie. Dr. Tachi, do you have anything to add to that?
Sure, that is gold. In addition, as Julie said, it's really up to you, because there are so many podcasts that to wade through the sea of it, you're not going to necessarily always be highlighted by a platform like Apple Podcasts, etc. So it's up to you to really build a tribe. You've got to have a great community on social media. Really push it on social media, and you can't just be a taker. You also have to give, which means that you also need to participate in what other people are doing, and not just podcasters. Because what the mistake that a lot of podcasters make is they target other podcasters. We don't have time to listen to every single podcast. So you want to target people that are potential audience members. Look around on social media, build that tribe, because it doesn't matter once you build your tribe where you are, they'll follow you wherever. So use social media.
Awesome. Great advice. Thanks, Dr. Tachi. Thanks, Julie. Bob, does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you. And that was along the lines of what I was suspecting. I didn't know all the platform names, so I appreciate that. My dad actually worked in broadcasting, television, radio, back in the 1980s and 90s. So like it's funny to like in podcasting. It's funny because I have to break them. Even though I was a little kid back then, when I still think of setting up the podcasting, I'm still thinking of the old radio booths back when my dad worked for CBS Radio. It's really funny. And it's funny, you know, some things never change. Some things change and some never change. And I kind of been setting up my little work area. It almost kind of looks like a radio booth here. So just thinking of the memories back. But I appreciate the tips, and I like hearing the room. I'll be happy to throw my 3 cents in anytime something comes up. I might have to jump in a few minutes though. I do have a scheduled call coming up. So, but thank you.
Awesome, thanks, Bob. I do have a scheduled call coming up shortly too, so we're gonna try to keep things moving quickly. We always our goal is to always meet everybody who comes up on stage. So we got a few folks left to meet before we close the room out today. And the next one I got up on my list is Caroline. So Caroline, share a tip, ask a question. But please try to keep it quick because we're running out of time here. We're on a ticking clock.
Now the buzzer's on. So
yeah,
go on, Caroline.
Yep. But welcome to the room, and the floor is yours.
Hello. I just wanted to let you know this is my first show that I've been on, Dominique, in your room. I found your room last week, probably because Julie Loken was a guest. I do follow her. And I am not a podcaster, but what I'm going to be doing is having I'm going to host a little music room in one of the groups here on Clubhouse. And I mean, I'm so new that I literally have on the way from Amazon a Behringer mixer, headphones, and microphone. If I do something, I kind of go all out. And I just wanted to say hello, and I'm going to stay in your group. I want to learn the most that I can from the experienced podcasters that I see here on stage. And I don't have services or products to offer. It's simply just going to be a hobby for me. And who knows, maybe I will do a music podcast one day and be the next Casey Kasem. Thank you for your space.
Carolyn, thank you for being here, and thank you for being here. Julie, thanks for connecting Carolyn to us, and good luck on the journey. Following the passion doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to become your career. I used to be in pharmaceuticals, and some of the guys that worked in pharmaceuticals had bands on the weekend, and pharmaceutical allowed them the ability to be able to travel and perform in their band, and it made them happy as can be. I worked with other people at places where, when I was in landscaping or something like that, where their goal was to get home by 4:30 so they could coach their child's rec baseball team. Their goal was to be a hell of a rec baseball coach. So whatever you're passionate about, follow that passion, and we salute you and hope we see you back. All right, we're going to continue on. Cassandra, what's going on with Cassandra? Transformation is a beautiful thing. I've helped hundreds of people transition and evolve into their best self. I like the vibe. Okay, Cassandra.
Hey, everyone. Hello. Thank you for that nice greeting, Dominic. So glad to be here. And yes, mindset is everything, baby. No matter what you're doing, we've got to check what's going on upstairs. And it flows out from there, of course. And I'm also a real estate investing coach. So I'm going to help people create wealth, but it all starts with the mind. That's the first place we check in before we move out and do anything else. So I'm not going to stay long. I'm not going to say much this time, but I don't know who invited me. I'm just glad to be here. I know Julie. I don't know if it was someone else, but I am so glad I made it on board today. And listen, let's continue this dialogue. Hope to talk to you again real soon. Thanks so much. And I surrender the mic. God bless.
Hey, well, we are digging the vibe. We like positive people that we can feel your smile here. This is one of the things for anybody listening back or that's here. This is a safe place. Whether you're just starting out, like Caroline or Bob saying they're just going to start out, somebody that's been around and it's their business. We have your back. We're going to answer questions. The kind of people in here are the people that want to see you succeed. It was JFK that said, what was it? Rising tides lift all boats. So hopefully that's what's going on here. We're all rising tides and then I'll just float on your boats.
Oh
So
my God, this is amazing. I'm going to follow you. Sure. Follow everyone. Gosh, please follow me. And hey, there's nowhere to go but to the top. I've been down long enough. I'm ready to rise and rise. And hey, let's do it. So
yeah, some motivation. Thank you, Cassandra. I'm
thank
pushing,
you.
I'm pushing follow there. Okay, I'm follow.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
follow everybody. Go. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay. Bob, you were flashing. So Bob, I'm just going to give you rebuttal there.
Okay. I just want to say, Cassandra, I heard what you said about real estate coaching. I actually do a lot of LLC setups for real estate investors. I gave you a follow. Would love to connect with you.
All right, there we go. Moving
You know what?
on.
Who said that? I'm sorry. Would
It's
you like to
Bob,
hear?
two over
Bob.
from you. Look left, look right. Bob is
Oh, okay.
Bob
I see
Chesick.
Bob now. Thank you, Bob.
Okay,
I
you're
appreciate
good.
that.
You see, I got my bell out. Jay, I got my bell. I'm going fast now. We got Sion. That's how I see Sion, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Sion, did I get it right? Sion, you got a question or a tip to drop for us? Pleased to meet you, my friend. He flashed, so I must have got the name right. I feel got the name right, but you're welcome. We'll give Sion. Test
Looks
your
like we're
mic.
having some audio issues there, huh?
All right, we'll catch him next time. Okay, this is not last but least, never last but least. She's going to bring it home, Jess. Jess, live in freedom of your truth. Attract your perfect clients. Stack cash. Ooh, tell stories that change the world. Jess, would you like to drop a tip or ask a question? Go on.
She just dropped off the stage. I
Man,
don't
I
know
was
what
reading
happened.
such a nice bio. But so
Hey,
Tom, hold
I'm
on.
here.
Let's see who we got. Who we got?
Here we go.
Is this
We got the
Sion?
poet. The poet.
Sion the poet. Okay, Sion the poet. Ask a question, share a tip, and then we're taking it home.
Okay, no problem. Well, I actually want to just share and just want to make myself available. This is a great room. Thank you, Dominic, for letting me up. And I followed everyone. I'm just really wanting to know, of course, how to have a poetry podcast, and of course, growing a niche podcast. That's always questions, just basically tips for growth. Would always be good. And as far as if you have any creatives, especially in the writing or music space, we can always connect in the back channel. I'm available.
Sion, I'm a publisher. I have one poet that is killing it on Instagram. Every post she puts out with her, she teases her poetry on Instagram. She later wrote a book, and people love it. So one of the things I'll say in your space, she uses hashtags like crazy. It'll be hashtag thunderstorm, and she'll in her poem it will use the word thunder. But whatever is in her poem, she hashtags everything and gets crazy. Not just like engagement would be the term I would use for crazy engagement. So you might want to think about that. Tom, anything else you wanted to add on that subject? And then we'll do our thing.
I don't think so, man. I think you got it.
Okay,
I don't
love
have
it.
anything else to
Okay,
add.
well, so I'm going to put the pressure on you again. I like to do that. For me, I just want to say to anybody, get out there and share your story. Your story matters, whether it's on Clubhouse, podcasting, publishing, figure out a way to share that story. A bullhorn, a piano, a painting, whatever. Share that story. So that's all I got. So Tom, Julie, thanks for being the Pied Piper, as always, bringing so many people through and introducing us to so many. Prof T, Dr. Tachi, Wally, Jess, Rita, but Charlie, my buddy Charlie Cifarelli, so many great ones today. Bridget, go on, do your thing, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, huge thanks and shout out to Julie for bringing so many folks into this room and helping us. All the work that she's done to help us grow this space. I know it's something that you and I both make it a point to do, is to provide an open and safe space where we do our best every week to provide equal opportunity for everyone who comes on stage to drop a tip, ask a question, share some knowledge, with the room. And I think that's why it's growing. I mean, we look at it week after week and we consistently see more and more people come into this space. And I think it's because, we put an emphasis on leading with value, on being value first. This is not an attempt at self-promotion by either one of us. This is all about growing community, and sharing and helping each other. And, I think that's why we're starting to see it grow. And so I appreciate everyone being here today, all the questions, all the knowledge, all the information shared. And I just want to end by being grateful and saying thank you to everybody being here this week, to everybody who comes back week after week to spend some time on Wednesday mornings with Dom and myself. We really appreciate you coming to this space. We really appreciate you participating in this space, and we hope to see you next week. So that's all we got. We're going to count you down. We're going to close the room out in 3, 2, 1. Everybody have a great week. Bye-bye now.